Hi friends, welcome back to my channel, or welcome if you're new. Today I am going to be talking to you about some books that I really think would make good adaptations. This is going to be a really short video because I just want to give these 6 books some kind of acknowledgement. So whenever I'm reading a book, I feel like I often think about whether or not it would make a good adaptation. So whether that be a movie or a TV show or a play or something like that. I often think that some of them stand out a lot more than others, and in my opinion some books really do deserve to be turned into something on the screen. I won't give away any spoilers or anything. This is just an appreciation video for books that I really did enjoy reading, and I would absolutely love to see it be adapted. So let's go. This book is the first book I have given a 5-star from this author, and it is my favourite by this author, and that is Last Time I Lied by Riley Sager. I've read probably basically everything that this author has written now. I think I have one book left, which is Lock Every Door or something like that. So once I do read that, I'm going to do a dedicated ranking video for Riley Sager. For spoilers, this is the first time I've given this author 5 stars. He's never had another 5 from me. I absolutely adore this book. So this is like summer camp. It's got suspense. It's got that summer vibe. It'll be a really fun summer thriller. I think that it would make a really good watch. And I feel like when I was reading it, I wasn't really sure what was going on, and in a thriller when I'm watching it, I really love that aspect, and I think that this would translate so well into a movie. I really would love to see this be adapted. It does have some mental illness representation in here, and the way it's been dealt with was really good. I really loved how Riley actually wrote our main character. That is very bizarre for me. I always hate how he writes women, but in this one I feel like it was done so well. So this is following our main character Emma, who went to a summer camp one time, but when she was young, her camp mates that she shared a space with, they went missing and she didn't. And years later she is then asked to return to the camp. I think it was like 25 or 30 years later, and the same thing happens. The people who she's asked to watch over and teach, because she does art, so she teaches these kids art, and as a counsellor at the camp, basically she loses the kids that she is supposed to be watching over. And it's sort of similar vibes to the first time it happened, and so she is seen as the suspect, and we're following that journey and what she goes through. And the actual twist I really loved. I thought this was the perfect setting, and I think that it would make a really good movie. Next we have something similar, so it's a similar vibe in terms of like a summer sort of movie. This book is so gross, and it is The Troop by Nick Cutter. This is very gross and disgusting, and I feel like that would make a really good movie. For me, seeing how gross this was, having it adapted and seeing it come to life would be so interesting. So The Troop is following a bunch of scouts in an island. I think it's a remote island in the Canadian wilderness. They stumbled upon a man who has some kind of illness, and if shit hits the fan, everything is so gross and disgusting in this, and I absolutely loved it. The survival aspect of it screams sort of like Lost, and obviously that was a massive TV show, so I feel like The Troop could be a horror version of that. It's so gross and disturbing, it's dark, it's grim, and I like the fact that the person reading the book knows what exactly is going on, but our characters don't. So that's kind of like a really cool aspect, and I think that that would be really interesting to kind of watch on the screen. I think this is an incredible read. It is so dark and grim, like I keep saying, and I feel like that would be a really good horror survival story. And that's why I think it should be adapted. So the next book I think should be adapted is more of an indie story, so you might not have seen this book talked about before, and that is Foxfire by Ronan Hill. This is a story that is following a group of strangers who come together in Finland. It is in a Finnish resort, very remote, in the Arctic, and they all gather to enjoy the beauty of the Arctic, explore the aurora borealis, the northern lights. And for me, whilst I didn't really love the whole outcome of this book, I really love the setting and the descriptions of the setting and the northern lights and how cold and icy and remote this area is. And I think that that whole aspect of the story would translate so well in an adaptation. As you know, I love polar horror. This is very much a polar thriller horror, and it would make a really good polar thriller. I'd say movie because it is so short. I don't think you could get much more out of it. We've explored the Finnish folklore, and I think that would be really cool to see adapted. And I think that's one of the main reasons I chose this book as something I would really love to see adapted, because it is so atmospheric and a well-paced thriller story, and you could probably just take this as it is and turn it into a movie. And I would love to see like this whole cover come to life. It's just so interesting, and I do love me some polar horror. The next book is a fantasy story, and if you watched my best books of 2024, you will know what this story is. I think it is a beautiful coming of age young adult story that is very much centered around an adventure, and I would love to see it adapted, and that is Impossible Creatures by Catherine Rundell. This book literally had me in a chokehold. I absolutely loved the adventures that these characters went on, and I think that that aspect and all of the mythical creatures living together would come to life so well on the screen, and it would make a incredible TV show. This is becoming a series, so I do have the second one pre-ordered, so I am really interested to see where this goes. The first one absolutely broke my heart. I cried at this book. I had so many emotions reading it, so much joy, happiness, sadness. It is such a magical world, and I would love to see it come to life. If you've not read it yet, I would highly recommend picking it up. If you love mythical creatures, adventure stories, if you love pirates and ship-based books, then I think you'll really love this one. Yeah, I think it would be an incredible adaptation. The next one is another fantasy book that I read early in 2024, and I really love the world. So I think that The City of Stardust. So this is centered around a family who are cursed by a woman called Penelope, and basically it's centered around the fact that our main character Violet, her mum leaves 10 years ago to try and break this curse, but she never returns, and so Violet is then sent on this journey to solve the curse herself before she has her life taken away from her. So she is trying to break this curse, and I really love the world. It is so mesmerizing and enchanting that that's the reason why I think this would be a really good adaptation. The whole plot line of it is intriguing, and yes, how the characters interact with each other and create this world would make a really good movie or TV show to watch. This book was a really interesting story, and I loved the outcome, and I think that it would be really cool to see that come to life on the screen. I would highly recommend picking it up. Georgia is a incredible woman as well. I actually went to one of her book events, and she's just lovely and absolutely raves about her own work, which is really, really cool. And yeah, I just think that this is such a spellbinding read, and I had a really good time with it, so I think this one would make a really good adaptation too. And finally, the last book on here is another thriller story that absolutely took my breath away, literally, and that is Whalefall by Daniel Karas. So this is about grief. It is really about that. We have our main character whose dad passes away, so he goes on a deep dive because both him and his dad dived together, and he ends up being swallowed by a whale. He only has a certain amount of oxygen left in order to get to the surface, and each chapter we're following how much oxygen he has left. And as someone who is terrified of the ocean, and I have thalassophobia, so reading this absolutely made me lose my breath. I was really captivated by this story. I really love how it's like a retelling of Moby Dick, and it is centered in grief, what he is going to be doing because he's lost his father, and we're jumping between time as well. We get a more well-rounded picture of his life and what his relationship was with his dad and all of that stuff. I think it's really mesmerizing of a story, and it would make a really good movie. It would have me on the edge of my seat. I'd be hyperventilating because of the scenes. Yeah, that's why I think it would be a really good adaptation. It really was enjoyable to read whilst also being terrifying, but that's only if you're really scared of the water, and obviously I am. So yeah, that's why I think this one would be a really good adaptation as well. So there you have it. Those are some of the recent books that I think should be turned into something on the screen. Thank you so much for watching this. Let me know in the comments if you have any ideas on recent books you've read that you'd like to see be adapted to. Let's have that discussion, and don't forget to come back for more videos like this. Hit the subscribe button. With that, I'm going to sign off for this video, and I guess I'll catch you in the next one. But until then, keep your pages turning and embrace the darkness. Bye!